do is a red battlefield so that I can get energy to go and cut down more trees. So that means whenever I go to grind, I'm picking a spot that has a low population where you're not going to find a lot of people. So I'll do something like fattest habitat because nobody's ever going to be there. If I'm feeling crazy and want a challenge, I'll go to like Schultz Guard out here. Sometimes I do Basilisk Den because I know nobody will ever be there. A few times I've even gone to the Centaur's Herd just to get the various crystals that drop over there. But yeah, I go places where there's not going to be anybody. But did you notice a common theme about all those places where there's not going to be anybody? They're also all really low AP. In fact, some of them are even gear capped. So having this 270 AP on my character literally wasn't doing anything for me. If I go to red battlefield, I still get blown up in one combo because I have no DP. So what's the point of having all of that gear? I didn't need it. It was basically wasted silver. It was silver that was not doing anything for my account here. So that's reason number one why I got rid of my stuff, is that I just straight up didn't need it for the way that I play this game. Second reason is because the market was favorable to sell everything. If you open up the central marketplace and you look at the prices of different items, I sold my stuff right around the end of March. So if you look at, for example, the Ogre Ring, which I had a Tet Ogre Ring at the time, you will see that right at the end of March here, it took a bump up in price, a pretty sharp bump in price. When I saw this recovery was happening, I decided that that was probably the time I should sell my stuff. I bought in around here somewhere, so I minimized my losses by selling at the peak price here. If you look at the Vel's Heart, which is also another item that I had right here, this also reached a peak right around that same time, so I got lucky with both of these. Now, the second thing that lifelong Evil Duosarm viewers will know about me is that I completely hate the RNG upgrade system in this game and always buy all my gear. And an added little bonus to that is whenever I buy my gear, I always put it in at the minimum bid. And whenever I get it, I get it. I don't really care about having it right away, because once again, I never needed any of the gear anyway. That means when I went ahead and bought all of these items, I bought it below this average price and ended up selling right around the average price every single time, meaning that I didn't really lose any money. So for selling all of my combat gear, even after the 15% reduction in tax, because I sure as heck made sure to have a value pack running, I didn't lose any money. I sold it at a favorable market time. So if you are thinking about doing something similar to this, consider the market and check the 3-month trend to see where you are as far as the prices go. Now, the third and most obvious reason as to why I went ahead and did this is because the majority of my playtime is spent life skilling. And not just the majority, but literally like every single thing I do in this game somehow comes back to a life skill. I can trace it back to a life skill in which mastery has an impact. For example, I make trade crates with a little worker empire. I get the resources for this through gathering, so increasing mastery improves my gathering yields. I also have to process material, so processing more material faster means that I can do it faster, make more money faster. A large portion of my income is from cooking boxes, which we'll take a look at here in a second, but increasing my mastery for this as well increases my total profits for those. Increasing my fishing mastery through accessories increases my overnight AFK fishing money that I make. And that's pretty much the extent of my life skills and what I use them for, but even if I wanted to go out and ride my boat, I can go like 1.5% faster now. So by switching to the full Tri-Mano set, as well as picking up a pen gathering utensil here, I managed to increase my silver per hour from gathering by about 25 million silver per hour right here from this to this area. And by boosting my mastery a whopping 150 from all of these upgrades for cooking, I'll increase my total profit off of my cooking boxes that I have remaining to sell in the city of Odrexia over here. As you can see, I have 74,000 plus 20,000, almost 100,000 meals here, which equates to 7,500 more boxes to make. I will increase the value of every 2,500 of those boxes right here using this calculator from 1.2 million-ish to 1.355 million-ish profit each. Multiply that by 3 here, since this is only doing 2,500 boxes and I have 7,500 to do, is another 450 million silver that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise unless I made this switch. So the combat gear was making me no money, and it was keeping me from getting another 450 million silver from cooking boxes that I had already made. Once again, free money just sitting there that I wasn't going to claim. As far as processing goes, which feeds very heavily into my crafting empire, I've gone from being able to craft like 60 batches at a time up to 154 batches of plywoods every time I'm going to craft these suckers, so it cut the amount of time I have to spend doing processing tremendously. And then I think the biggest thing of all of this is that my playstyle now has very minimal reliance on the central market for making money. So if you go out grinding, you need to sell the crystals, the accessory drops, all the different things that you get that need to get sold on the central market to make money. The only thing that my lifescale empire needs to sell in the central marketplace now are hard and sharp black crystals, as well as Kaffir stones. So I can just sit here and stockpile a bunch of these in the central market warehouse, or in my various city warehouses and just have them pile up until I'm ready to buy a value pack off of the Pearl Shop for loyalties. So every 2 weeks I get enough free loyalties just for logging into the game to be able to dump all of my inventory, sell all of the stuff, and continue along. Since as a life skiller you can equip weapons that don't really matter, it's not like you need amazing crystal sets, you can put the weight increased crystal sets on your weapons and give yourself the increased weight that you would get from a value pack normally. Typically when you're gathering or cooking you don't need a ton of inventory space simply because you already know what you're going to do. You can basically negate the need for the value pack entirely except when you're going to go and sell your stuff. Obviously the value pack is nice for the bonus EXP as well as a Book of Old Moon or a Book of Life, and if you're gathering the Blessing of Camasylvia is great, but you don't need any of those things, and as you can see I don't run with them very frequently. I only use them when I have like a week off from work or something like that where I can get the full use out of them. Otherwise I feel no obligation to have any buffs or anything running, which is fantastic. So yeah, in summary, basically, I wasn't getting a ton of use out of my combat gear and it was kind of wasted silver. All I do is life skill in this game anyway, so I might as well increase the amount of money I make from it. And since I get most of my stuff from life skilling that doesn't involve the central marketplace at all, I don't have to worry about paying for any buffs or anything like that, which means I can kind of just have fun and play the game. And I think that's a playstyle that works pretty well for me. So anyway guys, that is going to do it for this video. I know you probably didn't really learn anything in this video, but at least you got to see my thought process and how I activate and play this game here. If this video is going to help you though in Black Desert to decide what you want to do let me know in the comment section below. Also, once again, if you're not subscribed already, please consider it. It helps to grow my channel, pushing for 100,000 subscribers this year, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching once again. I'll see you in the next live stream over on Twitch, next YouTube video right here, or wherever I happen to see it. Peace. Hello, what is up guys? I'm here today, back with another Black Desert video. Today's video will be taking a look at all the important events and updates that came with the most recent patch to Black Desert on March 24th of 2021. There is a ton of content. Like literally there are more notes here than were in my entire senior thesis for college, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Just quickly before we get into the video, if you're new to my channel, new to Black Desert, or you've been watching videos on my channel and still haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. New videos come out every single day. It would help to grow my channel and I would greatly appreciate it. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it, and let's start off with the first thing that you probably clicked on this video for, the Nacho Gear Exchange. So this is the gear we talked about in a couple videos last week where we were discussing how you're going to be able to exchange your Pen Naru gear. So in order to do this questline and actually exchange the Pen Naru gear, you're going to need to have played through the storyline through the Calpheon series, or have reached level 56. Once you've done one of those two conditions, if you press the comma key on the keyboard, click on the quest tab in the bottom corner, and then the event quest tab, you will see the questline Special Aid Fugar's Letter. Go ahead and accept that questline. This is going to direct you to any Fugar you want. So we're going to go to the one that's sitting right here. If we go ahead and talk to this Fugar, click on the continue option, it will complete. We can then click the quest option, Special Aid a Secret Deal, then click on the option that says, all right, I accept your offer. Click the continue button again, click on the quest option, and you will now have the ability to exchange all of this Nacho gear. So once again, to exchange for this gear, you need Pen Naru Stage gear. Naru gear is awarded on any character, it does not have to be a seasoned character. If you deleted your gear already, you can just play through the story on another character. It takes like 3 hours, 4 hours maybe, to get through this point in the story. If you exchange your season gear already in for this gear, just play through a new character. I know it sounds like a lot, but the gear is really, really solid. At any rate, once you have your full set of Pen Naru gear, if you talk to the manager Fugar here and click on the quest tab, you will see these quests. And we're just going to go right down the line. You just accept the quest, accept the quest, accept the quest, all the way down. And then you just continue to complete the quest by clicking the chat option, and you just literally exchange for the gear. That's it. You're just going to hit chat, exchange, chat, exchange, chat, exchange. So this gear is bound to your family, which means you can drop it into a storage and pick it up on an alt character. So don't be nervous about which character you complete the quest on, and the weapons themselves come in a box. So you can also place this box into storage and open it on whoever you want to open it on. As we mentioned in previous videos, the gear itself is slightly better than Tuvala armor or Oasis gear that you get from the Oasis vendor. And all in all is a solid starting set to use on your characters. So once again, it is bound to your family, which means you can transfer between characters. And that's pretty much it for the gear exchange questline. It's super simple, guys. Just find any Fugar, complete that quest with the Black Spirit. Next event that's in the patch notes is going to be accessed by pressing the Y key on the keyboard, and under the challenges tab, you are going to see this stuff right here when you log in on your Sage. So for logging in on a Sage here in Black Desert, you'll get the following rewards. Has to be claimed on a Sage character, but once you have claimed the items, you can also put them into storage and claim them on any character that you want. So for example, if I go to the Storage Keeper right here again, click on Storage, I can drop these extra inventory expansions into storage and claim them on whatever character I want. Neat thing about this is a 50% knowledge gain item right here, Eyes of the Wise, and it's equipable only to a Sage, but it's great for farming different things like in the Bartali's log. Next event is right here, Secrets of the Hexadron. Every single day for logging in, you're going to get 2 of these little pieces right here. You can just go ahead and claim those. The Hexadron piece itself is also obtainable from gathering, fishing, or defeating monsters, so while you're out grinding, and can be sold for 500,000 silver apiece. Now, as we just showed you, every day for logging in, you're going to get this unknown Hexadron item, and if you take the 2 items in your inventory and use the simple alchemy option, this is the L key on the keyboard, you're going to be able to place these 2 items together. If you then hit the start button, it will create a random hexadron. So there are 4 different options for these things. You have the wind, water, earth, or fire. Each of these gives you a random amount of ancient spirit dust, and you can re-roll if you so desire by using another hexadron piece. So just to show you how re-rolling works, if you go to Simple Alchemy once again, you can select that item and then click the hexadron piece again and roll it a second time. So right there, I stepped up 1 more time and got the ancient spirit dust times 30. Pretty straightforward. You can mess around with this. Every day you get another unknown hexadron, so while you're out grinding and stuff, you can keep rolling these into this box until you get the red one for maximum ancient spirit dusts. Pretty simple event. Next event is basically the Ancient Knight, White Knight spawn thing event where you get 300% skill EXP. While you're out grinding, a magical box is going to spawn. Go and talk with the magical box, and you get an EXP buff of 100% and a skill EXP buff of 300%. Lasts for 180 minutes, aka 3 hours, and it does not stack with any other buffs that you might have as far as like event buffs. So like that mysterious knight, whenever he would spawn, will not stack with that if you have one of those active. It just resets it. So pretty cool bonus EXP while you're out grinding. Next event is the Purdy Flowers event, where we're going to be taking screenshots of our characters in front of the flowers that are sitting in the major areas of Black Desert. So the cherry blossom trees are starting to grow. If you take a screenshot, upload it to this forum topic post area, which will be linked in the description below, you're going to be entered for a chance to win fabulous prizes. Top 3 people are going to get a classic outfit box. Everybody else is going to get some like drinks, I guess. So yeah, take a picture of your character and put it over there, and then there you go. Next up on the information here is going to be that anybody who made an account between February 24th and March 24th, aka after the transfer of service period, is going to get the same rewards that all the people that did the transfer of service did get. So they're going to get the free pet, exchange coupons, all the crap that everybody got, cron stones, everything. So it'll be delivered to your in-game mailbox. You can pick it up right there starting on March 24th. So good news for anybody who started playing the game in the last month. And with that, we're now going to get into the difficult, more informative section of this video, where we're going to have lots of really, really important information. And if you've tuned me out, you should probably like tune back in for a few seconds. So, first big bit of information. No new season character. No new season next season. No spring season. Instead, you're getting the Olvia server thing, which we'll talk about here in a little bit in the next bit of information. But no new season character. Now, I know this is going to be a shock to a lot of people, and a lot of people are upset about it, but don't worry, they did give us a little insight into why they're doing this. So basically, they've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying that it's harder to progress, and they don't really know how gear progression works and all that stuff. So that's why they decided to just put out this gear and just give it to you. That way you don't have to worry about gear progression. You can just have it. Don't even worry about the season server. Don't need to do any of that Tuvula upgrading stuff. We'll just give you this stuff. And even as far as accessories go, with the new changes to the Capocha accessory system, for reaching level 61, you get a full set of Capocha accessories. So you get necklace, belt, earring, ring, all of them for hitting level 61. And this is retroactive, so if you didn't hit these levels before, or you already hit them, but you didn't get the rewards, you do get them, as you can see right here. So yeah, basically the season server is just obsolete with these changes. Now, a lot of people are going to say, but you can't get your pen Capocha, or you can't get Tet boss gear equivalent Tuvula gear, and don't worry, they figured all of that out with this amazing 2-week-long event. And don't worry, they really thought about new players with this system here that are just getting into the game and trying to figure it out, by making it so only really new players that have like 2 characters can do this. So all you gotta do is a new player that has like 2 characters and has no idea what's going on is get yourself into a really, 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 really good geared guild, or have really, really, really geared friends. Get them to take their gear off, open up this guild gear rental system here, drop that gear piece into the rental thing, and they won't be able to use it for 2 weeks, and then you get to borrow it. So yeah, I love my guild, but not that much. But yeah, basically you can put shit inside of that box. Oh, I swore, oops. You can put stuff inside of that box, and other people can use it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can rent it out to new players in your guild. So it's great if you got friends and you want to help them out. You just have to give up your gear so that they can use it for 2 weeks. For some reason, they can enhance it with Kaffir stones, but the Kaffir stones will be removed from many weapons and armors. So I don't even understand why that's even possible. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting choice. That's basically the TLDR on that. I don't know how many people are actually going to use this, but it's there, I guess, if you want to be friendly with your friends and give them your backup gear. Can't be pen stage, has to be with either try or tet, and you can't put any life skill related gear in there as well. Alright, I think I made fun of that enough. If you think I'm wrong and there's a million uses for that gear rental system, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, moving on to more important information, all winter season characters that you may have created for this most recent season are scheduled for deletion on March 31st, so be ready for that. Just kidding, relax. They're going to get converted to normal server characters, so your season character will become a normal servant character on March 31st. Any gear in your inventory that you have not converted yet, if you do not complete the graduation system, will be converted in the order of highest gear level. So if you have 2 weapons, your highest one will get converted. If you have 2 armor pieces, your highest one will get converted. If you have 2 weapons that are the same tier, so like say you have 2 pen weapons up for the main hand, whichever one was made more recently. So if you made like a sword and a blade, and you made the sword after the blade, the sword is the one that will get converted. You can contact support before April 27th to switch which item got converted if you want to, so do not worry too much about that. And yeah, with the end of the season server on March 31st, any quests related to the season server are going to be deleted. So you won't be able to exchange the frost leaves, honorable adventure certificates will be deleted, season quests are going to be removed, and the season pass, if you haven't finished any of it, will be removed. So make sure to claim everything you can off of those before those are done. Also, all of the different ores and items in your inventory are also going to be removed. So if you're not going to upgrade any more stuff, make sure to sell all your time-filled blackstones and all that crap, or exchange them in for Advice of Valks or things like that. If you do not complete the early graduation quest line, the Adventure at the Crossroads quest line, you're going to get the stuff sent to your mailbox that was rewarded from that, so don't worry about that. And the quest line that rewards the Pen Capotia accessory is still accessible, as well as the ability to use boss gear exchange coupons from the winter season following the completion of the winter season. And that's pretty much it for important information as far as the season character graduation goes. So once again, March 31st, you got 1 week left to play on your season character before it becomes a normal character. I'm only memeing on you pretty hard today, don't worry. And at last, we are finally on to the final tab, which is the actual patch notes. Can you believe it? We're finally just getting to the patch notes. So as was mentioned already earlier in the video, there are new Olvia servers. So the Olvia servers now give you 50% more combat EXP, 20% more skill EXP, have a level cap raised by 1. The insane change of double EXP for life skills. This is huge. If you're a new player, you should take full advantage of this. And I'm not only biased because I'm a life skiller, but Artisan 1, well actually Artisan 2, is like the breakpoint for tons of different life skills. So 100% take advantage of this life skill power leveling. And additionally, Contribution EXP also is easier to get. You get more Contribution EXP, which is great for your worker empires and things like that. Sage got some quality of life improvements. If you're playing Sage, feel free to check those out. In my Bartali's log video, you saw that you needed a Kaya necklace for one of the quests. They can now buy the Kaya necklace from the NPC Mandolf in Trent. For those of you that are grinding in the Elvia zones, there is a new Wakitoshi NPC located in Glish now that sells you Elvia Marnie stones. So these are the Elvia Marnie stones right here for the different grinding zones. The NPC is located right here. You can see Serendia Territory, Glish, Marnie's, Werny, blah. Oh my god, that was bad. Serendia Territory, Glish, Marnie's top assistant, Wakitoshi. There's this thing. I don't even know what to say about this. There's a little dude that's going to spawn, you get a key. The key gives you nothing, and then you get nothing from opening up the key. My personal favorite one that went live is the reset of the Black Spirits Adventure. You have no idea how excited I am that I was at 48 of these, and I was about to get the super awesome box with lots of money in it, and they reset it back to 0. I'm really excited about that. We briefly touched on this bit here, that the Capotia accessories now have new level requirements to unlock them. You only have to get to level 61. This is kind of part of the reason why the season server is becoming obsolete. And there's new level rewards for going 62 through 65 as far as try Capotia accessories. Also, the level to craft Capotia accessories has been dropped to level 61. Already talked about the Narchlin gear, so we don't need to do this. If you have a full set of Pentuvala gear and you want to put in a little bit of an upgrade to that gear if you would, you can use heating on the Narchlin gear, doesn't matter what time, to get a fresh Spirit's Breath stone thing. You can then take that to the node manager Mary in Atnus Pond, who's located right here. It's located between Old Wisdom Tree and the Lamora Guard Post right here. Take it to her. She'll give you a stone. You can then use that stone as an armor reform stone or a weapon reform stone on a Tuvala piece of gear to get some bonus stats for it that you can see right here. We covered this in an earlier video this week. Next up is the Demihar life skill gear. We talked about this in an earlier video last week, but it has some pretty nice bonuses. 80% drop rate buff when having it equipped, 50% gathering EXP, but only has 300 durability and cannot be repaired. It's available from Apprentice level 1 of Gathering, and to my knowledge, the only way to pick this thing up is through a challenge that you get for hitting Apprentice 1 in Gathering. It is located in your Y Challenges menu. You can see right here, it's Life Let's Get Going. So there are one set of these right here, and you can take your pick of which one you want to use. Since this is an EXP buffing item, I'm really going to recommend using it on one of the higher EXP bringing in life skills, so something like gathering with a hoe or wood cutting or mining. But I mean, I'm not your dad, so you do you. And if anybody finds another way to pick one of these up, let me know. I literally went out to the NPC Demihar, and he has nothing for sale. Alvia regions got dropped down as far as their difficulty for the majority of regions. I haven't done any Alvia grinding, so I'm not a good person to give you info on this, but it looks like nerfs to overall damages and HP probably makes those places easier to grind. And beyond that, there are no other major changes, so this video is like forever and a day long. I do hope it's going to give you enough information to be able to take advantage of the patch. There's a lot of really interesting stuff, a lot of events that you're going to want to do, so please take advantage of them. Anyway guys, if this video is going to help you here in Black Desert, do let me know in the comment section below. Also, once again, if you have ideas for other videos you want to see, please let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you at the next live stream over on Twitch, YouTube video right here, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace. Hello, what is up guys? Evil Duo Sarm here today, back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the gathering system in Black Desert. More specifically, if you're a completely new player, has no idea what gathering is, but want to get into gathering and start making money from gathering, this guide is exactly what you're going to need. I'm going to go step by step through everything to make it as simple as possible for a new player, because I know a lot of guides out there don't make it accessible. Anyway, real quick before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or enjoy the content on the channel, please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me and would help to grow the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it and let's talk about the basic concept of gathering and how it makes money and why it's such a great moneymaker. Basically, what you're doing as a gatherer is you're gathering resources that a player wants for either alchemy, cooking, or processing. Those are the three major skills that people do that require gathering. So for example, if you're doing alchemy, since I just put together an alchemy video, you know that you need a ton of bloods and saps in order to do alchemy. But bloods and saps are a pain in the butt to go and gather because you got to go around from tree to tree or go hunt down monsters. You're basically performing a service for someone else so that they don't have to do it. That being said, the prices of the different things that you can gather are dictated based on the essential price of the Imperial crafting box for whatever that item goes into. Pretty straightforward system with some caveats and differences, but for the most part, that's how it works. Just to give you an example of the system, if we type in wolf meat, you can see that wolf meat goes for a solid amount of money. Even though there's a lot in stock, there are a ton of pre-orders because wolf meat is used in a ton of cooking recipes. But if you go to wolf blood is dirt cheap and there's nothing in stock because nobody harvests this because the alchemy recipes that it's used in are not very profitable. So when you're looking for things to gather, you need to keep an eye out for this and look for different things that are in high demand because they're in very important recipes for Imperial crafting or alchemy or just straight up processing. So with that backstory of gathering and how it makes money and all that out of the way, let's take a look at the two schools of thought for leveling up your gathering skill. The first one are the min-maxers that say you should level up your gathering skill up to the Master Plus tier. Leveling it up to the Master Plus tier gives you the maximum bonus effects from it. And in order to level up to the Master tier, you're going to gather herbs located anywhere around the world or other different trash items that give you a lot of experience as you gather it up. You're not going to make any money in this, and in fact, it's a huge money loss. But ultimately, you will make more money in the long run since you'll be a higher level gathering skill as you progress. The second school of thought is people like me that think, hey, I just want to make money, I don't really care, so I'm going to gather stuff that's worth money and make money, and eventually I'll hit the master tier and be able to make more profit. In the long term, it probably makes less money, but you get to see your progression as you go along. At any rate, whichever way you want to go, I'm going to show you both methods in this video. So the gathering skill has a bunch of different gathering items, from clothing to tools to accessories. There's a lot to cover, and I'm going to break it down into different parts to try and make it easy to understand. At any rate, every single item that you gather requires a different gathering tool. If you press the P key on the keyboard and navigate to the Life Skill tab on your menu, you will see the gathering items that you have. So we can cut down trees with axes, fluid collectors with fluid collectors, hoes to gather herbs and other things, butchering for meats, tanning knife for tanning hides, mining uses pickaxes, and then water scooping is in order to gather water from rivers or lakes. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of different tools that you need for gathering. Whichever one you're going to end up specializing in is what you're going to want to buy the best tools for. So for example, I do alchemy, so I have a fluid collector. At any rate, in order to gather, you also need energy. So the more energy you have, the more that you'll be able to gather and the more money you'll be able to make. If you want to get more energy, I have a guide on the channel about getting energy. Link is in the description below. Now, I did just briefly mention Gatherer's Clothes. There are two types of Gatherer's Clothes. There's the Silver Embroidered, which give you EXP. These are the clothes you're going to use if you want to power level your gathering skill by gathering herbs or other trash items. Because they give you increased EXP, you'll level up faster and hit that master rank faster. The other option are the Logia, Carta, or Manos gathering clothes. These give you life skill mastery, or gathering mastery, which we'll touch on in a second so that it makes a lot more sense. Just let me get through all the different items. The final thing that you can use for gathering to boost your life skill mastery are going to be accessories. So there are rings, earrings, belts, and necklaces that all give you life skill mastery. The nice thing about these accessories is that they apply to all life skills. So even if you do something besides gathering, like say you gather everything and then do alchemy, these same accessories can be used for alchemy. They're shared, which is pretty cool. So you've heard me mention gathering mastery a few times. Let's take a look at that now. If you press the P key on the keyboard, navigate to the life skill tab. Under the gathering tab, you will see a mastery here, which coincides with your current level of gathering. Then, from there, you will see all the different types of things you can gather with another gathering mastery that's based on your gear that you have equipped. So for example, if I put on my fluid collector, it took my gathering mastery from 443 to 743 for fluid collecting. But what is this gathering mastery number? You can hover over any one of your gathering masteries and see the percent increase to these different resources and whatnot. Kind of confusing, so we're going to use this table from Grumpy Green Cricket. This website has a ton of great Black Desert information, so if you're ever looking for anything, they're a great resource. At any rate, they have a tabulated version of all of the different percentages of increases that you get based on your mastery, and there's a few big breakpoints. The first one's at 750 because it gives you a 100% increase to your basic resources that you gather. So since 750 is the first breakpoint, and this is a beginner video, I am only going to cover the 750, but do note that there's other breakpoints that you can try and shoot for as you progress your gathering skill. Ones like 1100 that give you a 100% chance at these items. Then at 1250 you get 200% increase to your basic items, as well as 100% chance at special items. So there's a few breakpoints throughout here. Basically take a look for round 100s, so like a 300% there, a 200% there, a 100% there. Look for those points, and those are going to be your bigger breakpoints when it comes to your gathering mastery. So what do you do before you hit that 750 threshold? Well, if you go to the central market and you type in magic fluid, since this one I know is in stock, you will see this magic fluid collector. So you need to be at least skilled 5, and there's a bunch of different magic tools. So if you want to do butchering, there's magic butcher knives, all different magic tools for whatever skill you're trying to do. Just using the magic fluid collector as an example. But anyway, these magic tools, in order to use them, you need to be skilled 5 for your gathering skill. You're going to need to level up gathering skill using basic tools before we get to this point. But the magic tools, the big selling point about them is that they set your mastery to 650. It's not going to show up anywhere in this mastery table. It'll still show whatever mastery your gear has. But note that it sets it at 650. So if you have 12 billion mastery, you're at 650. If you have 50 mastery, you're at 650. And no, it doesn't actually set it to 650, but the drop table is similar to the 600 to 650 range. That means rather than having to invest in all sorts of gathering gear, you can just buy a magic tool, a magic gathering tool, and be able to have the same mastery as if you were to spend roughly about 1 billion silver worth of stuff. So it's really great when you're first starting out to get into the gathering system and make some money. Before you hit skilled 5, you're going to need to use basic tools. So basic tools can be bought from any material vendor. The one in Bear is located down here. If you go to her shop, you can see all the different gathering tools. If you're just starting out, I would recommend picking up these improved ones because even though they cost more money, they reduce gathering time by 10 seconds, and it'll make your life so much easier. So use those tools up until skilled 5, and then after that, pick yourself up some magic tools for whatever you're trying to gather. Alright, so now we're going to look at other gathering gear in more detail. So there is a ton of different gear, as we already mentioned. There's clothes, accessories, all that great stuff, but this is basically all you need to know. There are silver embroidered gatherer's clothes. If you go to the central market, you could literally just type it in, silver embroidered gatherer, and there they are. So silver embroidered gatherer's clothes are used when you are trying to power level your gathering skill because they provide increased gathering EXP. Otherwise, if you're trying to gather for profit, you're going to want to either use Logia gatherer's clothes, Carta gatherer's clothes, or Manos gathering clothes. Most people start with Logia, then they just deal with it and jump to Manos. They skip the whole Carta thing in between, but you could also use the Carta gatherer's clothes. So looking at the Logia gatherer's clothes, you can see that they have a ton of different ranks. Basically, every single rank that it moves up gives you increased mastery. So for example, a plus 10 clothes gives you gathering mastery of plus 33 that you can see like right above my mouse. And if we get like Tri-Logia gatherer's clothes, it goes up to 130 mastery. So increasing the rank of them gives you increased mastery gives you increased drop rates, which then makes you make more money. So basically, you want to buy better gear. The same thing applies to tools. So for example, a butcher knife, if we want Logia butcher knife, Take a look at that. If we were to buy a base one, it only gives you +3 mastery, but if we bought a TET one, it's +200 mastery. So the more money you spend, the more mastery you get, and the more money you make. Pretty basic concept. There's also accessories, so if we typed in Logia earring, you can see same exact thing. There's different tiers of it. So a base one gives you +4 mastery, a TET one gives you +32 mastery. So the gains from accessories are not as strong to your gathering mastery. However, they do apply to all life skills, so they are universal, which is why they have an increased price when compared to the amount of mastery that you gain compared to the clothing or tools. But they're very well worth it if you plan to do a lot of life skilling on your characters. Another cool thing about the accessories is that they give you bonus life EXP, which will help you to power level if you're trying to power level. With all of that said, your first goal, as we've already said, should be hitting that breakpoint of 750. The easiest way to do that is going to be to get Logia Gatherer's Clothes. Logia's Gatherer's Clothes at the TET rank for 407 million will give you +200. A Logia Gathering Tool of your choice at the TET range will also put you up another 200. So for example, if we did the Butcher Knife to gather meat, we would get the additional +200 from that. The next thing you would need are going to be all Tri-Logia accessories for about 50 million a pop. So after all of that, you would be sitting at 550, and you would need to hit Professional 10 or Artisan 1 Gathering in order to be pushed over the top to the 750 breakpoint. So every level you move up in the Gathering world, it gives you 5 base mastery. So you can see I'm Artisan 7, so I have 235 base mastery. So if you hit Professional 10, Artisan 1 breakpoint, you'll be at an additional 200 mastery. So add that 200 mastery on top of all of the 550 that we get from all that gear, puts us to 750. All that is going to set you back 1.2 billion silver, which is an insane amount to invest. However, you will make that back between 15 and 20 gathering trips, depending on how lucky you are with your RNG at that gear rank. So it's incredibly well worth it, especially if you plan to do a lot of gathering. Now, as we already mentioned, instead of spending all of that money on the different things, you could just go buy like a magic fluid collector, which is always in stock because it's a byproduct of Imperial fishing. For like 70,000 right now, get 250 gatherers out of it, and be set at 650 mastery, so you're really not that far behind the 750 that you would get from spending 1.2 billion. So you don't have to put all of that money into gathering to get started. You can use these magic fluid collectors, gather bloods or saps, make a bunch of money, then buy your gear later. In fact, that is what I would recommend a new player to do. However, you do have the people that like to min-max and power level through it, so if you want to power level through it, you're going to want to use Magic Hoe. So the Magic Hoe will be used to gather the herbs located around the world. As you can see, there's not many in stock because they're in high demand because people are trying to power level their gathering. At any rate, you can see why there's a big difference in your thought process here, whether you want to try and make money with gathering as you progress, or if you just want to power level to get over with and then start building up from there. So the next thing we're going to talk about are going to be buffs for gathering. If you go to the central market, type in seafood crawn meal, it will pop up as this item right here. Seafood crawn meal increases your gathering skill by 2, also increases your EXP gain by 10%, and your life skill mastery by 25. So if you're 25 points short of a bracket, this will bump you over the top, which is amazing for gathering. Do note that there's also an event going on right now where you can buy seafood crawn meals for 1 silver, located at the stable keeper in most major cities. The vendor is the Ellie Oasis vendor, so go ahead and talk to her. Next item up on the list is going to be the Verdure Draft. I have no idea how to say that, but it's Verdure. The Verdure Draft increases your EXP from gathering by 20%. It also gives you gathering +3. So what is this gathering +3/+2 that I'm talking about? You have a gathering stat on your character's profile. If you click on this battle stats icon, you will see gathering. As you increase this, it reduces the amount of time it takes you to gather, which lets you make more money per amount of time. You definitely want this maxed out, and if you're a member of a guild, guilds typically have +3 gathering as a base stat that they apply to all members, so you don't even need the Verdure Draft if you are in a guild, so find yourself a guild that has a gathering buff. At any rate, +5 gathering is the max, so once you hit +5 gathering, don't really worry too much about this. Now there are 2 other buffs that are nice to have while gathering. The very first one is the Blessing of Chemisylvia, the Chemisyl's Blessing. This is a Pearl Shop item that's sometimes given away for free for login rewards. This one increases your energy recovery by 2 every 3 minutes, taking you to 3 energy per 3 minutes, which lets you gather for even longer, making more money. The next buff is going to be the Villa buff, which is obtained from the Cash Shop tent, because realistically it doesn't make sense to travel to the desert to get a Villa scroll, to then get the Villa buff, to then come back to wherever you're gathering. It just doesn't really make sense. So if you have a Cash Shop item, you can do it for an additional 1 energy recovery per 3 minutes, taking you to 4 energy per 3 minutes, and letting you gather for even longer. But anyway, if you don't understand this whole villa buff scroll thing, whatnot, don't really worry too much about it. It's a cash shop item, and if you don't like spending money, it's not that big a deal. So this is just like a little convenience item that you can spend $40 for to give you a little bit extra. So 15 minutes of information overload is probably put your brain into a melting state. So let's just give you a quick recap so you know what to do here as a new player to get into this. To get started with gathering, go to a material vendor located throughout the world, talk to them, and purchase the improved tool for whatever you're trying to gather at the given time. The improved tool reduces the amount of time it takes you to gather, which will help you to level up a little bit faster. After you hit Skilled 5, go to the central marketplace and purchase a magic tool that corresponds to whatever you're trying to gather. So on the Magic Tool tab, if we scroll all the way to the bottom and just typing in Magic, it will show Magic Tools. Magic Tools set your mastery to like 650-ish, so it lets you make more money for less effort without having to spend a ton of money on gathering stuff. Use your magic tools to build up some money, and after you've built up money, start buying gathering gear that provides you with mastery bonus on your gathering skill to increase your overall gathering mastery until you hit the 750 breakpoint, at which point you can stop using the magic tools and move on to the dedicated gathering tools, slowly building up more and more mastery as you buy better and better gear and make more and more money. It's pretty straightforward when you think about it on that level, but as you can see, there's a lot more detail in all of it. And this hasn't even touched every single thing that's available to you in the gathering system. This just gives you the most important things that you're going to use every single day. So with all of that said, we can finally start gathering, and we are going to do our gathering at Bear. So Bear is located below Calpheon. There's Calpheon. Here's Bear. Here is Trent. So it's at this little intersection of them. And in Bear, we have two things that we can do. We can either power level our gathering by gathering the weeds over here in this rotation, or we can gather deer blood and meat over here, which also goes for a lot of money. So you're going to need either a butcher knife, a hoe, or a fluid collector, depending on which one of these you want to do. So the first one on the rotation is the weed rotation, which you can see there's already somebody here. There's actually two people here. But basically there are a bunch of plants that are weeds here, which is this plant right here. It looks like a fern. And if you go around in a loop, there are a bunch of ferns that you can collect here. There's ferns over here that you can collect. You can see somebody collecting over there right now. You can see all these wild herbs that pop up on the screen. I'm not going to take the rotation because they're working and I'm a nice person. But basically, you just move around to all these different ferns and they're wild herbs. And when you gather wild herbs, it gives you really solid EXP to power level your gathering. Once again, if you're trying to power level gathering, you want to go ahead and use the Silver Embroider's Gatherer's Clothes. The next items that we can gather if we're trying to make money are going to be deer meat and deer blood. So if you kill the elk that are located in this area, gather from them, you will get deer meat or deer blood according to whatever tool you use, either a fluid collector or a butcher knife. So there are 3 different rotations you can do in this area. You have like the deer that are farming down here, you have the deer that are grazing right here, you have the deer that are grazing up here, you have more deer that are grazing in this like road area, and then down here you have a bunch of people who are also gathering, as this is the main rotation down in this area. There's a ton of deer that spawn right here. That person has taken them all already. There's like 3 people here. Why is everybody here today? At any rate, those are your gathering locations. If these spots are taken where you can gather gear, you're going to want to swap servers. It's not worth it trying to compete with someone over these dare spawns as well as the herb spawns. Just keep swapping servers until you find a place where it's empty. But if you're trying to make money, the deer rotation does make solid money. If we go to the central market and we type in deer blood, you can see that it goes for like 9,000 silver a pop. And as you get more and more mastery, you'll be getting anywhere to like 12 to 16 of these as you build up more and more mastery. So every deer you kill will be worth like 150,000 silver. So a lot of money. Likewise, deer meat, if you're trying to go for that, also goes for a good amount because it's used in cooking recipes. So both of those are valuable. And the herb rotation, like we said, gives you tons of experience. So now there is one more pay-to-win element to all of this gathering, and that is going to be the hedgehog pet. So the hedgehog pet has the ability where it increases the amount of items that you gather by giving you a second gather at a random percentage. The hedgehog pet can be obtained from gifting someone the game in the World of Black Desert, so literally just sending it to a friend. From the Amerigo starter pack, which is available on the Pearl Shop. So if we go to the Pearl Shop and we look at the Black Spirits pick, I believe it pops up right here. The Amerigo's welcome patch right here. So you have a hedgehog available in that. And also it comes up periodically in random sales, so you can purchase it from that as well. But yeah, it's really, really awesome for gathering. So if you want to spend money, would definitely recommend the hedgehog pet. If you were going to spend money on anything for gathering, that would be it. So I think that that's going to do it for this video. We've covered just about everything you could want to know. We've covered mastery system, gathering equipment, different things to pick up, all sorts of stuff. So I hope that this video answered a lot of your questions with gathering. If it didn't, let me know in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them. Also, I'm going to be going through and showing you different gathering rotations as we go forward throughout the week here of places that I like to gather. I've shown you the bear one. The bear one, as you know, after this video comes out, is going to become packed. So I'll try and put other ones out that you can go to make some money while diluting the pack of people that go and farm at each area, if that sense makes sense. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you found it useful. If you did like it, make sure to leave a like, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and make sure you're subscribed so you stay updated when new content comes out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you at the next stream, video, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace. Hello, what is up, guys? EvilDuoSarm here today, back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we are going to be covering a beginner or introductory guide on the node and worker systems in Black Desert. This is specifically targeted for a player who has no idea what's going on whatsoever with nodes or workers or any of that. Maybe you read on a Reddit post or something like that you should start investing in nodes and workers, but really have no idea how to get started with it. So this guide is for you. We'll cover setting up a basic node, deciding what nodes to invest in, and getting a worker to start working at your nodes. So this will be really helpful for a new player. But anyway, real quick before we get into this video, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or enjoy the content on the channel, please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me, and we're really pushing for that 20K. Without further ado, let's get into it, and let us start with the very first most important thing about the node system in Black Desert, and that is contribution points. So if you look at the top left corner of your screen, you will see a little medal, like if you were to win a prize or a trophy or something. These represent your total contribution points. So it's going to be a number / another number. The second number is the maximum number of contribution points that you have. The first number is how many you currently have available. The reason I'm bringing this currency up first in this video and calling it the most important thing is because in order to invest in any nodes or to hire more than one worker in any given city, you will need contribution points. Depending on the node and the resources available at the node, you will need more contribution points, and to make a bigger and bigger node empire that brings in more and more passive income, you will need more and more contribution points. So how do you get contribution points? Contribution points are obtained from completing quests. So some story quests give them, a lot of side quests give contribution points, daily quests give contribution points, and as you earn contribution points from the quests, it will increase this little percentage, and whenever the percentage dings 100%, you will gain additional contribution points. So as a new player, you should focus on doing as many quests as possible, play through the story at least once, and pick up a solid foundation of contribution points. Alright, so now that we have that out of the way, the whole contribution point spiel, let's actually talk about the nodes themselves, since this is a video about nodes. If you press the M key on the keyboard to open up the map, you're going to see a whole bunch of lines all over the place and probably have no idea what's going on if you're a new player, so I'll try to help you a little bit understanding how it's relevant to nodes. Each of the main cities or main villages in the game have these little icons. They look like cities, they look like forts, whatever. You can start to build your node empire from out of these cities. So for example, if you want to get like the Alejandro farm that we're ultimately going to get in this video, the closest city would be Heidel, so you'd want to start your node empire from Heidel. But if I wanted to get this node that was way out here, like this Highland Junction, I would probably want to start from Tariff or Altanova, since that city is closer. The reason that proximity to the city matters is because all of your workers will be based out of your city. So as you hire workers to work your different nodes or different farms or whatever, they need to travel that distance. So the time it would take a worker to travel from Heidel all the way over to Highland Junction is significantly longer than the amount of time it would take a worker to travel from Tariff to Highland Junction. So as you're structuring which nodes you're going to end up deciding to buy, you'll want to pick a city that is located centrally or at least relatively close to all of your different nodes. You could even have multiple cities for different nodes if you want to really expedite your process. For the purposes of this video though, we are going to be going for Alejandro Farm because it's really simple and it provides a good that is always in demand. So that covers the importance of cities and their proximity to the nodes that you want to farm. Now we're actually going to talk about the nodes themselves and what they do. So as you travel around the world of Black Desert, you will run into different areas that are going to unlock map waypoints. These are going to be the nodes that we're talking about in this video. Nodes have multiple different purposes. The one we're really going to focus on in this video is how you can send workers to a node to gather different items from that node, ultimately to resell on the marketplace or to use in your own crafting. However, do know that nodes serve more than just that function. Sometimes in order to reach a node that you want, for example like this Lynch Ranch that I want, I need to connect to this node, Northern Plain of Serendia, even though it provides me absolutely no benefit. I don't want any of the items that are there. I just want to be able to use it as a connection so that I can connect from this node to this node all the way back to Heidel. Ultimately, you cannot gain anything from a node unless it's connected to a city. So you will need to chain together multiple nodes to ultimately get to the node that you want. So in addition to being chains for other nodes, you can also invest energy into any node to increase the drop rate of mobs in the area. So for example, say you're grinding for a legendary belt or something from one of the enemies in the area. If you click on the node that is located where you are farming, so for example, if I was farming in the northern plain of Sarandia, I could choose to invest energy in this top left corner, which would ultimately level up this little EXP bar, and as the EXP bar levels up, you will gain a better chance at acquiring drops in the area. This is a system that's great for like endgame farming areas if you're trying to maximize your profit per hour. You can improve your drops in those areas and make farming a lot more beneficial. This is a really endgame focused thing, and since this guide is for beginners, we're not going to cover this anymore, but do know that the function exists if you want to be able to do this. But anyway, those are the primary functions of nodes in Black Desert. So you might be a little confused, like, well, how do I know which nodes connect to what? This all looks like a spider web, I'm really confused. So that's why I'm going to show you this map right here. This website will be linked in the description below, and it shows you every single node in the game. It shows you what each of those nodes allows you to obtain if you click on it. So for example, this Lynch Farm Ruins gives me trace of savagery, trace of hunting, etc., etc. if I were to send a worker there to gather. And it shows you what it connects to. So say I wanted to get this northwestern gateway and I wanted to connect it to Heidel. All I need to do is get Lynch Farm Ruins, and then I can connect directly to the northwestern gateway. So it makes this whole node system super, super simple. The awesome thing about this though, like I just said a couple seconds ago, is that if you click on any node, it will tell you what it allows you to farm from that node. So if you're looking for a specific item, you can search around on this map and find out where you can farm that item from. This is an awesome tool, and you're going to have it open all the time while you're setting up your nodes in Black Desert. So now we understand the importance of cities, their proximity to the nodes we want to invest in, how all the nodes connect and work with each other, but how do you ultimately decide which nodes you want to invest in as far as the worker empire goes? And that's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. Do you want to get heavily invested in like the processing or cooking or alchemy skills in Black Desert where you need certain materials? Then you're going to want to invest in nodes that provide you raw materials you need for those. If you want to just like make a quick buck and sell the materials on the marketplace, you can also do that. So the node I want to show you in this video is going to be for cooking honey. That's because cooking honey can be used both in the cooking skill to make you some money, or you could just straight up sell it on the marketplace to make money. When you're looking for different things to set up node networks around, take a look at the value of the items on the marketplace. So for example, if you think you want to start an empire farming ash logs, if we type in ash timber, we can see that its base price is only 285 and that there's currently like 20,000 of them already on the marketplace. So odds are that this isn't going to sell very well. But if then you look at something like acacia timber, if we click on this one, yeah, it's got 20,000 items in stock, but there's also a lot of pre-orders for it. So this one moves quite frequently and it has a much higher price. But anyway, use the material tab on the central market over here on the left where there's the material tab. Try to identify items that are in demand that go for a solid amount of money, and then use this map to find out where the nodes are that you can send workers to go ahead and farm them and build around a city that gathers a lot of these different nodes. But I am going to share one with you that moves really well, and that is cooking honey, and that is what we're going to pick up at Alejandro Farm. So cooking honey goes for 2,500 a pop, usually sells pretty well. Right now it's not because there's a lot of them on the marketplace, but this is usually a pretty solid moneymaker. Cooking honey can only be obtained, as far as I know, from Alejandro Farm, so that's why it's even better. It is a high demand item that only comes from Alejandro Farm as far as nodes go. So we've been standing here long enough talking, let's actually go and connect some nodes. So as we discussed earlier, to get to Alejandro Farm, there is no direct connection from Heidel to Alejandro Farm, so we need to connect either through the Northern Guard Camp or through the Lynch Farm Ruins. So let's head over to the Lynch Farm Ruins and show you how to start up connecting to the Alejandro Farm. So whenever you arrive at a node, you are going to look for the node manager. It'll say node management above their head. It'll have a little thing that says node management if you're far away from them. And when you talk to the node manager of an area, what you want to do is click on them to talk, and then you want to click the node management button. I am already invested in this node. I actually already have an excavation running here because these traces that you get from it go for 10,000 a pop. So it's easy passive income that just goes into my inventory, and I can use it for alchemy, or I can just sell it on the marketplace if I want to sell it and make some money. So boom, you're getting 2 for the price of 1. But in order to connect to this node, you need to click the button that pops over on the left here that says Invest Contribution. And then you'll have invested in the node, and you can connect to any one of the items around here. So from the Lynch Farm Ruins, I can go to the Northwestern Gateway, I can go to the Northern Plain of Sarandia, or I can go to the Alejandro Farm like I want to. So let's go to the Alejandro Farm where I haven't connected yet, and it'll make a lot more sense. So we are at the Alejandro Farm, and we are at the node manager once again. If we talk to him, we go to the node management tab. You now see what I was talking about. It says invest contribution. It tells you how many contribution points it's going to cost. So this is going to cost me 2. And I click it, and I now have access to this node. If I zoom out on the map, you can see that the line that was white is now orange, or a very faint yellow. So that's how you know that those nodes are connected, and they all ultimately connect to Heidel. So now I have Alejandro Farm connected to Heidel. The next thing you want to do is, from this node manager's menu, click on the node itself, and it'll bring up every single thing that you can obtain at the node. We are looking for honey production, so go ahead and click on honey production, since that's the material we want to farm, and we need to invest an additional contribution point into that. If you do not invest the contribution point into that, then you cannot gain anything from it. So you need to have that contribution point invested. Now, when you click on that, it's going to ask you what worker you want to assign. You're not going to have any workers that you can send to this yet because you're a new player and you haven't hired any yet. So now we're going to go ahead and show you how to hire workers. So in order to do that, we are going to go ahead and navigate to the work hiring guy whose name is Joel. So hover over the map until you get to Joel. So Joel is not the only work supervisor in the game. There are multiples through any village in the game. If you hit the search icon in the top right corner and look for the worker icon, if you click that, it will map you to the closest work registration guy. So whatever city you're setting up around, find that guy and talk to him. You need to hire workers from this guy. When you talk to them, it's going to give you the option to contract workers. When you click contract workers, it's going to cost 5 energy to hire a worker. If you hit yes, it'll bring you up a random worker. So there are several different tiers of worker that you can hire from here. They're either white, which is the lowest, then you have green, blue, gold, and like a reddish orange color, which is the best. So based on whichever tier you get, they're going to have better or worse stats. Better stats obviously mean better products, faster work being done. If you don't like the worker you got on your first roll, you can click view another and it will show you another worker. So we actually got a worse one that time. Click it again, click it again. You can roll through all of your energy that you have on your character and keep rolling for better and better workers. Now you can replace these workers later, so you don't need to worry about getting the best ones right now, but maybe as a new player you want to go until you get a blue one. So right there we got a blue skilled goblin worker. So you may have noticed there were giants, humans, and goblins as I was rolling through this. Goblins work the fastest, giants work the slowest, but giants have the most energy, goblins have the least energy, and humans are somewhere in the middle. Energy is how many times the worker can produce whatever work item that you sent them to do. This is represented by their stamina, so giants will be able to go a lot longer before you need to feed them. Goblins a lot faster, but you got to feed them a lot more. Pretty simple concept. To hire the worker, all you got to do is click hire worker, and it will say, do you want to hire this worker? Sure. And now I hired a skilled goblin worker. So if you want to hire more than one worker in a city, you need to build housing for your workers. To do that, open up the map, click on the city that you're located in, and it's going to bring up all these little houses that you can see. The easiest way to do this is to navigate to the filter in the top right corner, look for unpurchased, and then for the type of thing that they do, you want to find lodging. Lodging is the icon you're looking. This will show you all of the houses in the area that allow you to have additional lodging for your people. Just go ahead and click on one, click on the lodging tab, and if it says check purchase conditions, it means you need to buy other houses in the chain. So for example, let's just buy this one first, and now that I bought that house, I can set it to being lodging. So you need to buy houses for as many workers as you plan to hire in your village. As you build up more workers in your empire, you can send them out to more nodes and gain more income. So anyway, now that we have our worker, we need to assign him to the farm. So to do that, open up the map, click on the Alejandro farm, click on the honey production, and it will give you your list of workers. From here, go ahead and pick whichever worker you want to use. I'm going to use this level 24 skilled human worker. The next thing you want to do is hit this change option right here, and you want to set it to 50,000. If you don't set it to that, it means you need to manually send it every single time, and nobody wants to do that. So after you've got that set up, go ahead and hit start work, and your worker will start to collect items from there. All of the items that your worker collects from the node will be located in your bank. So if you go to your bank storage keeper right here, you will find all of the different items that your workers have gathered right here in your storage. So I've already had the cooking honey one running for a long period of time, so I have 1,400 cooking honeys in my inventory. Now we mentioned stamina as we were selecting our different workers. If you press the escape key, navigate to the life tab, which has the little pickaxe. It's actually like to the left of my head, I think, or yeah, to the left of my head on the screen. Anyway, click on that, click on the worker list. It will show you all of your workers that you have hired. So for you right now, it's probably just one, but as you build a bigger empire, you'll have more and more. It'll show you their energy, it'll show you how much time is left in their task, and it'll basically give you all that information. If their energy hits 0, they will stop working. So like this guy right here is about to stop working. In 15 minutes after he finishes this, he will be done working and won't work anymore. In order to replenish that bar, I need to hit this recover all button. But to recover all, you need beer. So the item you need on the central market is beer. So just type in beer. Look for the green one, I guess. It doesn't really matter which one you buy. They're all pretty much the same. They give a little more energy with higher tiers. Buy some beer off this. So I'm going to go ahead and buy 200 of them just so I have some. So now from that same menu, if I click the recover all button, it's going to ask me which item I want to use. Go ahead and hit confirm, and it will recover the stamina of all of my workers. Now you can see I have nobody chilling at 0 again. If they did hit 0, you can hit repeat all, and it will send them back out for whatever task they were doing. So if they did run out of stamina and stopped working, you can send them out again by clicking the repeat all button, which is a nifty feature. But anyway, guys, that is it for this video. That is your introduction to nodes. As you can see, it is super complex. It took me a long time to get through this. We started this video when it was daytime in the game. We went all the way through the night, and we are back to daytime. So that's how long it took me to get through making this video. Anyway, it's a really complex system, but once you get a handle of it, which hopefully this video helps you to do, you will start making a ton of money just sitting there while you're playing the game. One more thing to note about nodes. You have to be logged in for them to continue advancing. After you log out, your nodes will play one more time through whatever they're doing, and then they will stop. So they won't resume until you log back in, and you won't be gaining income. So you need to leave your computer on if you want it always running, or it'll just run whenever you're playing. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. If it did help you, if you think this video is a great video, share it with your friends. Make sure to leave a like, comment in the comment section below what you think. If you didn't like it, go away, don't watch my video, and pretend you didn't see it. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you at the next stream, video, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace. Hello, what is up, guys? EvilDuoStorm here today. I'm back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the most popular requests I've gotten in the comment section of my videos, as well as during live streams, and that is a beginner's guide to AFK fishing. So this guide is only going to cover AFK fishing. I'm not going to cover manual fishing beyond how to play the minigame. So if you're interested in learning how to do AFK fishing, you're a completely new player, have no idea what you're doing, this video guide is for you. Real quick, before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or enjoy the content on the channel, please consider subscribing. We'd greatly appreciate it, and we're pushing for 20K. Without further ado, let's get into it, and let's get started. So I think the first place to start with this type of video is going to be the 3 stats that impact your auto fishing the most with regards to your character. So those 3 stats are going to be your fishing level, your fishing mastery, and the auto fishing time stat that's applied to certain gear. So to get started with the first 2, press the P key on the keyboard to open up your My Information tab and take a look at this Battle Stats tab. Under the Battle Stats tab, you will see a fishing level, and this fishing level is out of a maximum of 5 possible points. Each level that you add to this reduces the amount of time it takes you to get your initial bite. Maxing this out to 5 will increase the rate that you autofish or even normally fish, so it is highly beneficial to hit this. I'll show you the different gear and items that get you this combination later on in the video. The next stat is under the Life Info tab, and that is your fishing mastery. If you navigate to the actual life skill tab on its own and then hover over the fishing stat, you will see that your mastery stat, which increases with certain gear as well as with your fishing level, increases the chance for you to get a prize catch. For ease of understanding, a prize catch is basically just an ancient relic, which you can sell in the marketplace or use to farm things later. As you fish more, the stat will passively increase, so don't really worry too much about this. Just note that as you increase it, you're going to get better drops as you go along, and you'll also be able to fish for longer because it reduces the amount of damage that your rod takes every time you fish. The final stat is auto fishing time. So on my Bolaños fishing rod that you see right here that I'm using, it says auto fishing time minus 25% at the very bottom. So auto fishing in general has a 3-minute timer. So the fishing level will reduce the amount of time it takes you to get your bite. And then after you've got the bite, you have to wait 3 minutes for your character to auto fish and collect the fish. If you reduce that auto fishing time, it reduces that 3-minute time that you wait for your character to reel in the fish. You can also get auto fishing time reduction from pets. And through these 2 means, you can have over a 50% reduction to that time, taking it down under a minute and a half. So that's basically it for the base stats that impact fishing. Now let's take a look at how we choose our fishing spot that we're going to do auto fishing at. If you've played this game for any amount of time, you've probably gotten to Velia at some point and wondered, why does everybody auto fish over here on this beach rather than like 6 feet down there where there's nobody? And that's because the beach over here has a different drop table for fish than if you were to go fish over on that side of Velia. Every single location that you can fish in Black Desert has a different drop table of fish. This site right here has a list of all of the different locations you can fish, as well as what fish you can catch. So as you can see, the Velia beach spot that we're at right now has the opportunity to catch rare fish. If we were to go to just straight up Velia, just a little bit further down, there are only common fish in the drop table. So by fishing in front of that beach, we end up getting a better drop table for better and more expensive fish. The rest of this video is going to take place only in Velia. I'm just going to show you how to deal with it at this one spot to make it simple. But do note that you might want to try and find a different location using this table to see improved gains. So now we got all the numbers down and what they mean. We also know where we're going to go ahead and start our auto fishing journey. How do we get started auto fishing itself though? So we're going to head over to a fish vendor. Fish vendors are located throughout the world. The one in Velia is Creo right down by the dock. Go ahead and talk to Creo, click on his shop, and pick up a fishing rod for 500 silver. To actually get started auto fishing, head on back over to the beach, press I to open your inventory, take out the fishing rod that we just purchased, and then all you gotta do is press spacebar. And then the waiting game begins. After a few seconds, you're gonna get a little icon that pops up above your screen, or above your character rather, and it's gonna be this little fish flapping about. This means that you can go ahead and catch the fish manually if you wanted to. or you can wait the 3 minutes as we discussed earlier, and it will auto catch the fish for you. Now, because I just want to show you how to play the actual minigame for fishing in case you want to do manual fishing at some point in your life, if you press the spacebar to start the catching game, you're going to get a little thing. You need to press spacebar again when it's inside of the blue, and then you need to use W, A, S, and D to complete the little button sequence. Do not use the arrow keys, even though it tells you to use the arrow keys, W, A, S, D. But that will go ahead and catch the fish manually. Otherwise, if you press spacebar, you could walk away right now, and every time that little icon pops up, 3 minutes later your character will catch the fish, and then he'll automatically throw the line, or he or she will automatically throw the line right back into the water and continue to repeat this process. So if you wanted to go make lunch, go to sleep, go to work, whatever you wanted to do, you could have your character sitting here auto fishing. And that's basically how you auto fish and get started with auto fishing. But there's a lot better gear than just this crappy rod that we bought from Creo, so let's start talking about that. If you're going to be serious about auto fishing and running this every single night before you go to bed or while you're at work or anything like that, you're going to want to pick up a Bolaños fishing rod as soon as possible, preferably the plus 10 version. The plus 10 version has 100 durability on the base side, which is fantastic. It'll let you fish for a lot longer, especially if you're fishing overnight. But at plus 10, it also has a 25% reduction to auto fishing, as we mentioned earlier in this video. This is like the staple for anyone who is auto fishing long periods of time. They will all have this Bolaños fishing rod plus 10, and if you want to get into auto fishing, you're going to want it. But do note that lower tiers of the fishing rod will improve your auto fishing time too. So if you don't have the 130 million silver that it costs you right now, you could pick up a lower version, build up some money through auto fishing, and then buy the better one later. The next item that you will see just about every single fisher that's a free-to-play fisher anyway using are going to be these silver embroidered fisher's clothes. The reason you're going to pick these up is because it provides you fishing ability plus 2. So as we discussed earlier, increasing your fishing level will increase the amount of time or decrease the amount of time it takes before you catch a fish. In addition to the plus 2 of this, if you're in a guild that has the fishing plus 3 buff, you will get your plus 5 fishing buff without needing any other gear whatsoever. So the plus 2 silver embroidered fisher's clothes only cost 16 million. Get into a guild with the plus 3 fishing and you will have your maxed out fishing stat without having to do any additional work. It's really, really awesome, especially for someone that doesn't want to invest real life cash into this. If you can't get into a guild that has that plus 3 fishing, literally form your own guild and start throwing messages out into the server chat to try and get people in the guild that want to do the same thing as you. I'm sure there's more people that would want to. Now, if you're seriously thinking about putting money into this game, you might want to consider investing into a Baidu, or a Marima as this game calls it, I guess, but that's totally a Baidu. Anyway, the reason you want this pet is because it reduces the amount of time that it takes you to autofish by 10%. So that 3-minute timer, it'll reduce it by 10% at base level. After you've leveled it up to level 10, it will reduce it by 20%. And if you spend even more money, you could take it up to tier 4, which would reduce it by 30%. But for the most part, tier 1 of this pet is more than enough. So if you want to spend $11 on this game, this would be a great thing if you're interested in auto fishing. Now, if you're looking to go even more hardcore, pay to win kind of person, you could buy additional inventory slots. Now, inventory slots can be purchased with loyalties, so every 10 days that you're logged in, you can increase your inventory by 1 on your fisher if you want to. Or you could buy larger bundles for pearls, which will allow you to fish for even longer. Other items you could purchase if you want to improve your fishing rates are going to be maple or ash tree floats, which will increase the chance of getting specific fish. And if you want to, you could purchase the disposable Creo's fishing chair, which will increase the ancient relic drop rate essentially while you're fishing for your next 100 casts. A final purchase you could think about making would be an Etheria sailboat after you've amassed a huge fortune, because this will allow you to sail out into the ocean. And in the ocean, there are different drop tables and better drop tables, frankly, which you can then use to make more money in the coming parts of the video. So that's basically going to do it for fishing gear. There's also loggy accessories you could use to increase your overall life skill masteries or increase the EXP you get from fishing. But in general, the only items you're going to really need for auto fishing are going to be this plus 10 Bolaños fishing rod, as well as these plus 2 silver embroider's clothes. After you've got those, you're pretty much set to do all the auto fishing you want and don't really have to worry too much, especially as a beginner or new player that doesn't want to spend a ton of money on these types of things. So you're looking at about 150 million initial investment. So I have been fishing for the entirety of this video so far, and this is what I picked up in my inventory, but let's pretend that I've been fishing for all night and I picked up a bunch of items and this is what I have, okay? So now we need to look at how do we actually make money from these items? Where do we go to sell these items? How do we make the actual cash from the auto fishing? So the first items that you're going to notice in your inventory are going to be ancient relic shards. You can either sell these on the marketplace straight out, make the 870,000 silver that they're worth right now, and call it a day. Or you can hold on to them until you get 5 of them from auto fishing, combine them together to get memory fragments that you then sell on the marketplace for a little bit more money. It's up to you whether you want the instant gratification or if you want to hold on to them and do a little bit more work. The next items you're going to pick up are going to be keys, as well as other miscellaneous junk items that you can just vend to a vendor for like 10 silver. I didn't actually get any of those while I was doing this, so I apologize, but the keys I was going to throw out. Finally, we have all the different fish, and we actually got lucky and got one of every rarity that's available. So we got green, blue, gold, and red. Each fish has a value. So for example, this Corvina has a 1 million silver value if I was to go and sell it to a trade market person, which is pretty cool. However, we can actually get more money for some of these fish before we just go ahead and vend them to a vendor. Do note that every single fish you catch has a timer running on it. So the fish that I caught more recently would be something like this one that has a 23-hour and 37-minute timer left on it. Or if we go to one of the first fish that I caught, this one's only got 23 hours and 20 minutes left on it. So as the timer decays on the fish, they will be worth less and less money. So you want to sell them as soon as possible. Obviously, this isn't entirely possible while you're auto fishing overnight, but as soon as you get up in the morning, make sure to go ahead and sell all those fish. But the first place you're going to want to go to sell all these fish is going to be the Imperial Fish Trader. So to move a little bit faster, throw your weapon back on and head on over to the Imperial Fish Trader in Velia, who is right down here by the docks. It's this dude right here, Imperial Fishing Delivery Charon. He's not too far away from Creo, who is right over there. So go ahead and talk to him and click Imperial Fishing. Here you're going to see all of the fish that he's looking for and how much he's willing to pay. So you'll see all the fish that you have in your side of the inventory over here, and you'll see that they're getting a 250% bonus on what they would normally go for. So what you want to do is whenever you're done with your late night, overnight fishing session, stop by this guy and sell him whatever he will take. Do note that he will only take so many of each type of fish, and after all players on the server have traded him enough times of that fish, he will not be able to trade it anymore. So this grunt I cannot trade anymore because he's reached his 0 exchange limit. If you want to find other exchange merchants like this for the 250% bonus, there's another one located in Glish down here. There's one located in Port Etheria way over here. Another Imperial Fishing Delivery guy can be found down here by these docks in this general area. And a final one is in Valencia City way out here. But if you don't feel like traveling all that distance to those places to trade in the fish and it's not really worth it to you, then you can head on up to the nearest trade manager. The nearest trade manager in Velia is right up here by the stables. It is Bahar. When you click on Bahar, if you click trade, you will go ahead and see a certain price for all of the different fish that you have listed here. And you could just go ahead and sell all of them if you want to. You could also play a bargain game that allows you to spend some energy and solve a puzzle with the guy. If you successfully complete the little mini game, you will get additional money for the fish based on your trade level. However, there's one more thing you should know about fish. If you get a full inventory and it's pretty full with very valuable fish, you may want to consider trading at a different trade manager than the one located right in Velia. This is because based on where you sell the fish from where you got it, you will get an additional percentage bonus on the value of the fish, similar to think of like importing lobsters to a different city that's way inland in a country. By bringing the fish from the coast to a further inland city or to a city that's way further away from wherever you are, you will get an increased revenue. So for example, if I was to take this fish that I caught from Velia using this calculator to Heidel, just a few cities south or a few steps south, I would get an additional 7.5% bonus to the value of the fish. This calculator will be in the description below, so if you want to see how much more money you can make from any journey that you would take, you can do that. The reason that we talked about in the start of the video why a boat could be a huge bonus, if we go from like a Megoria node that's way out in the ocean, let's just pick that one, and we were to take it to Heidel, we would get a 100% bonus to the value of the fish, so double the money from the fish that we caught. Basically, the further you take a fish to its next location, the more money you will get. But anyway, after you complete the bargain minigame, you'll also get a little bump to the value of the fish, and then you can go ahead and just click sell all on them. But anyway, guys, that's basically it. That's how you make the money with auto fishing through Imperial Fish Delivery, transporting them to cities very, very far away from the origin city, and either selling on or keeping the ancient relic crystal shards. A few more mechanics to explain. The fishing resources mechanic that's up at the top of the screen. So you can see it right now at the top. Maybe if I put it in the water, you can see that it says fishing resources exhausted. What this means is that it's going to take you longer to get a catch or longer to get a bite, as opposed to a location that was less populated by players. So that's the reason we were mentioning at the start of the video. You might want to find a different location if you're trying to auto fish as fast as possible. The next thing we're going to talk about is the do not board other ships when you are fishing. So this little checkbox that you see right here that's popping up under all the text that's popping on my screen, I'm sorry. This box will prevent you from getting scooped by another player who then takes you out into the ocean and then sends you to your death or drops you in the ocean and leaves you out there. So when you log back in, you are confused as to why you're nowhere near any land. So make sure you have that box checked at all times while you're auto fishing to prevent that situation. The final thing on this menu or this little UI here is this discard fish below a certain value. So this discard fish below a certain value will only appear as you gain fishing levels. What it does basically is it throws away all fish that are that color or below. So if you're only going for goldfish on your overnight fishing adventure and you don't have a lot of inventory spots to waste on green fish, check the blue one and you'll throw away everything that's blue or below. If you only want to go for ancient relic shards, you can throw away yellow fish. I don't have a high enough fishing rank to be able to do that. This unlocks as you improve your fishing stat, your fishing rank here, your life skill. But anyway, guys, that is basically it for the entirety of auto fishing. Those are all the mechanics. That's what you need to know as a completely new player. Basically, your TLDR version, go out, save up some money, pick up a Bolaños fishing rod plus 10, pick up silver embroidered fisher's clothes plus 2, get into a guild with the fishing bonus, go to any body of water, put on the fishing pole, press spacebar, check that little box at the top, and come back in about 8 hours. And that's it. That's all you need to know. Anyway, guys, if this video helped you, if you found it useful, make sure to leave a like, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and make sure you're subscribed once again so you stay updated when new content comes out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you at the next stream, video, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace. Hello, what is up, guys? Evil Duo here today, back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the most efficient way to level up a new character in Black Desert. So I'm not claiming this to be the fastest, but this is going to give you all of the rewards you absolutely need to get while getting you up to level 61 as fast as possible. And I can't think of a better time to put out this video than with the release of the new character as well as the new season server. That being said, this does not only apply to the season server, so you can do this on any character, on any server. There's no limitations whatsoever. This guide will work for every single character on every single server. Now, real quick, before we get into the video, if you are new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or you've been watching the videos on the channel for a while now and you still haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It helps to grow the channel, and I would really, really appreciate it. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it and let's get going. So first things first, I am going to assume that you are doing this on a second character and you want to try and level it up as quickly as possible. Someone trying to get into like a season server or leveling up on the Olvia server after coming back to the game. Basically that you've got gear that you can send over to your main character. But don't worry, I have some other gear recommendations if you're a completely new player and do not want to play through the story whatsoever for some reason in Black Desert. If you are a new player, I would highly recommend playing through the entirety of the story. Except for the Valencia 2 questline, because that questline sucks. At any rate, playing through the entirety of the story is going to net you a full set of Naru gear, which is going to give you the stats that you see right here on the screen. These stats are more than enough to take you through the entirety of my leveling guide I have over on the channel. And if you're doing this on the season server, you can actually end up upgrading this Naru gear into Tuvala gear that you use for the season server as well, which will help you to progress even further. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to do the story as a new player if you're just getting started. Also note that as you progress further and further in the story to the later quest series, you're going to get even better accessories, and these accessories can be used on any character. You can transfer them over to them, which is what I was talking about at the start of the video. So really, I don't know how many times I have to say it. If you're a new player and you've not played through the story before, you definitely want to play through to get all these rewards. But once again, don't worry, because I'll show you how to do it if you don't want to listen to me anyway, because I'm not your dad. I'm like your uncle that sneaks you like candy bars when your parents told you couldn't have anymore. So anyway, this build and all of the other builds you're going to see throughout the video will be linked in the description below, so you can go ahead and check them out and see the different items you need to get. So I've been babbling for 2 minutes. Let's actually get into some leveling information. And once again, this is not the fastest way to level. This is the most efficient and quickest hybrid way to level in Black Desert that gets you everything you need for a new character. So yes, if you get your buddy to go grind you at a super high-end game spot, you're going to level up faster. I don't need you to comment that in the comment section. But anyway, when you first fire up Black Desert, it's going to drop you off at the Ancient Stone Chamber, which is located right here. There are going to be a series of tutorial quests that take you into Velia, and then you will complete the Velia main quest line by going up to Kron Castle and returning to Velia. This whole series takes about 30 minutes to do, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I would highly recommend playing it all the way through until it actually takes you up to Heidel, which is about 45 minutes. Do note that with the release of the Hashton class today, when this video is going live, it's probably going to be packed on the season servers. You can complete these quests on other servers. You don't have to be on the season server. And likewise, if you're following this video like a year from now and wondering what the heck a season server is, it doesn't matter. Just play through this little initial starting bit up until you get to Heidel. We do this for a few reasons. One is that it gives you the Jirian armor set, which is an attack speed bonusing armor set that makes grinding early on super easy. You're also going to get several million silver, which we're going to need to do some upgrades here in a second. And it gives you about 8 inventory expansions, which are always nice. And I guess one more reason is because we're actually going to pick up the story from Heidel when we're done reaching level 56 in this guide. Playing through the story up until Heidel is also going to take you to about level 18, maybe 17, maybe 19, but somewhere in that range. So it's a good start to our leveling progression here. So once again, just play through the story until you end up in the city of Heidel. Now, Heidel is the first city where we're actually going to have to do some character building. And in order to get started, you're going to navigate up to the arms dealer at the top of Heidel. So here's the city of Heidel. If we zoom in on the city, it is these people right here. So we have 3 people up on this ledge. Head on up here to find them. So the one you're looking for is the arms dealer, or Nella. So these items will not be available on the season server. You're going to have to upgrade your Tuvala gear, your Tuvala weapons, to get to comparable stats that you see on these different items. It shouldn't be too hard because there's going to be a ton of free blackstones and whatnot that given to you for playing through the season server. At any rate, if you are on a normal server, you're going to head on over to Arms Dealer Ornella, and she will have a bunch of different items available to you. So the first item you're going to want to pick up is the Ornella weapon for your class. So the Ornella weapon has insane accuracy, makes the grind for the first like 50 levels of this game super easy. 17, 18, whatever you're at this point, up to level 50, makes it a cakewalk. The next thing you're going to want to pick up is the AP sub-weapon for your class, which is also sold from this same NPC. So scroll down the list until you find the sub-weapons here, and pick up the one that provides you AP. You're then going to use that several million silver that you picked up for playing through those initial starting quests to buy some blackstones off of the market, blackstones of the weapon variety. Pick a couple of those up and upgrade that weapon to +7, that sub-weapon to +7. The next thing you're going to want to do is take any gear that you have off of a main character, so once again, this is where the main character comes into play, and transfer it over to this new character. So armors, accessories, anything that transferred over to him to make your life so much easier. You can do this at the Storage Keeper in Heidel, located right down here by the water. Now, making these purchases and putting this gear on is going to set you up to this amount of AP, 110 AP, which is enough to honestly play through the entirety of this leveling guide all the way up to 61. But if 110 AP isn't cooking it for you, you can actually pick up a Kaya weapon, which I'll show you where to pick up here in a few seconds, over in Calpheon for 50 contribution points. This will bump you up almost another 30 AP, and it'll really, really make your life super easy. But basically what we're doing at this point is we are trying to hit the 100 AP mark, and anything we can get over 100 AP is going to make our life so much easier. You need about 100 AP to hit level 56, and as you can see, this build gets you there pretty darn easily. Now, if you don't have these fully upgraded accessories from playing through the story, don't worry about it because you see we have a 10 AP cushion, and if you're still short, once again, you have the Kaya weapon that you can use. I also want to point out that all of these accessories can be transferred over to a seasoned character because they are quest reward items. They are not like accessories you buy off the marketplace. These quest reward accessories can be used on a seasoned character. This weapon definitely cannot, and I haven't actually tried the Ornella weapon, so I don't know for sure, so I don't want to say you can use it. So because of that, you're either going to have to use Naryu gear or the Tuvala gear that you're going to get from the season server, which once again can both be upgraded relatively easily. But basically set yourself up to 100 AP, or as close to it as you can, and more would be great. Now, if you're a completely new player that has never played Black Desert before and you still haven't listened to me playing through the main story to get all the free rewards, I'm going to show you the little cheating way that you can do this to get the gear you need that's going to put you so close that you might be able to do it, and I've never tried it to confirm it, but this is the best I can come up with. So this build right here makes use of all of the free crap that the game gives you to try and get you so close to that 100 AP mark. You're so friggin' close. And honestly, you can bump it over that by upgrading this weapon a little bit further through RNG upgrades. So this is the same AP sub-weapon that we bought from that Ornella lady, as well as the Kaya axe and some free accessories that you can buy. Anyway, starting with these accessories, they can be purchased from an NPC in Calpheon. So the NPC you're looking for is the Armor Vendor Grandis. The Armor Vendor Grandis is located at the northern portion of Calpheon City, right here. So the northern entrance to Calpheon City. When you go ahead and talk to him, if you click on the shop option and scroll all the way down the list, you're gonna have to go pretty far down this. You're gonna see the Root Treants accessories right here. So you have earrings, rings, belt, and a necklace. These items right here, they cost a significant amount of money, and they provide you the stats that you see right here. We then are going to pick up the Kaya weapon for 50 contribution points from the Workshop Weapon Master Kenobis, who is also located in Calpheon right here. So the second set of blacksmiths and armorsmiths located in Calpheon right near the icon. This person, if you go to them and click on the chat option, you will be able to rent the Kaya weapon for your class for 50 contribution points. Do note that if you're a new player, this is probably going to be pretty hard since you start the game with 0 contribution points and you refuse to do any questing. So I really don't know how you're going to do this. You're going to have to use the Ornella weapon, which once again you got from the Ornella lady located in Heidel, and maybe do a few story quests to give yourself some contribution points. But that is the only way I can think of without having to spend any money in the game and buying items off of the central market to hit 100 AP. That said, of course, if you're not playing on a season server with this character, you can just go to the market and buy your weapon for your class and get yourself 100 AP. So like if I went and bought a Rasar longbow or a Bars longbow or whatever, I pick up like a Pry one for 20 million silver, look, I'm good to go. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you're not playing on a season server and can rack up some cash while you're leveling up to level 50, you can upgrade from that Ornella weapon later to push yourself over that 100 AP target. And then of course, once again, if you're on the season server, you can just upgrade your Tuvala gear as well with different blackstones that you get for rewards playing on the season server. So that's it. I'm done talking about gearing. Now let's talk about buffs. I'm not going to talk about every possible buff in the game. I'm just going to talk about the most critical ones that you pick up. The first one is going to be the Simple Cron Meal. Simple Cron Meals can be bought off the central marketplace. Right here, this is the item entry. The reason you want to get this is A, it gives you 30 bonus AP. This is why we only need 100 AP to hit level 56 pretty easily. This 30 AP bonus is critical for killing stuff in the late game regions 50 to 56. It's also going to give you 20% combat EXP buff, which will make leveling a little bit faster, and a bonus to all of your attack speeds, movement speeds, critical hits. It makes your life so much easier for leveling a new character. So you're going to want to have a couple of these. Do note that right now, and I don't know how long this event's going to last, so depending on when you watch this video, this event might be over, but you are looking for the Oasis vendor Ellie right here. She's located near the stable of most cities. If you go ahead and talk to her, click on her shop, she has the Simple Crown meal available for 1 silver instead of the 300,000, so you can save a ton of money by buying it from her. The next EXP buff we're going to look at is going to be on the Pearl shop. If we navigate to the loyalty tab, you will see the 530% EXP scrolls for 1 singular loyalty. You get 100 loyalties per day, and you get 53 of these scrolls across your entire account. Make sure to claim them only one at a time when you buy them. That way you don't forget where you put them. They'll always be sitting here waiting for you in your storage. I know I've gotten these on console before as well. I don't remember where they are, and they might have expired. It might have been because of an event, but I do know that they have been on console before, so they might be back as well. At any rate, this is where they are on PC. The next couple of EXP buffs are going to be located in your Challenges tab on your account. So on the Challenges tab, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of your menu for all the different rewards and items that you have, you will see 2 sets of buffs. You will see the Faster and Stronger Combat reward buff that provides you a fixed EXP bonus for 1 hour. And then you will also have the Daily Blood Frenzy. For the Daily Blood Frenzy, you're going to want to take the 200% Combat EXP buff. And for this Combat Reward one, we're going to wait until we hit about level 40 before we pop this. Same thing goes for this buff, but you can claim it and put it in your inventory for later use. Do note that if you can collect 3 of these 200% EXP buffers, which once again is the second one right here, you can stack them together into a 600% EXP buff. Which means with these buffs alone, you're going to be pushing well over 1200% EXP, which is way more than you're going to need for this video, but it's just showing you all the different things you can get here. And yes, there's other buffs, there's other items that you pick up, there's other EXP scrolls like Blessed Message scrolls, all sorts of different things you can pick up. But these are your big ones, your critical ones that will make your life so much easier. Okay, that's it. We're done. No more gearing, no more buffs. Let's take a look at actually leveling now. So now I'm going to point out all the different areas you can go to quest all the way up to level 56. These are just recommendations. These are also level ranges, so you can go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and a lot of these different spots, just to give you a general idea on the different locations that you can try for each of these level groupings. So the first grouping is going to be that level 17, level 18 after we've gotten to Heidel, up until level 20, and the best place for this is actually just Moretti Plantation, just south of Heidel. So there's enough spots here for about 4 people to be supported in this location. Or if it's way too packed for you over at the Moretti Plantation, you can go back up to the goblins up here in Velia, or you can just stay up there until you hit level 20, and then continue on down to Heidel and skip this whole little bit here, and go right to our second area, which is the bracket 20 to 28. So from 20 to 28, you're going to either do the Castle Ruins location over here, which is just south of the Moretti Plantation, or the Swamp Fogans, which is over to the left. So both of these places work. Personally, I like to spend like half my time here and then make my other half time here just to mix things up a little bit, but it's up to you. Both of these places are a-okay for that. Following that is going to be the 28 to 32 grouping, and honestly, you can go a little bit higher or lower on these depending on how packed these locations are. And we have 4 different places that we can hit up in this grouping. So the first is the Bloody Monastery, which is located down here south of the Swamp Fogans. You could also try the Orc Camp located over here. The Baragi Den that is located just north of the Orc Camp up here. And then continuing along a little bit further is the Corrito Cave. This one actually starts a little bit higher level-wise and also lasts a little bit longer, so if you want to hang out here a little bit longer, feel free to hang on there past level 32. But the next grouping is going to be 32 to 40, and for this grouping, there are 3 relatively okay locations. The best one by far is the one that I like to use. It is the Refugee Camp right here. I take this one all the way up to 40, honestly. It really dies down after about level 37, though, but I still feel like it's one of the best places. Now, beyond the Refugee Camp, there aren't a ton of different locations to go. You can do the Breachery Ruins, which isn't very fast. The mobs are all really, really far apart, but you can do it. You can also do the Mask Owls Forest up here, which, once again, I don't think it's as good as the Refugee Camp, but it can still be done, and there's actually decent mob density up there as well. Levels 40 to 45, 46-ish are going to have to be done down south, or if you really want to suffer, you can keep doing the Refugee Camp, or you can go up to the Trolls up above. Both of those locations are going to severely slow down, but they're easier for the next step for getting to it. Or if you want the faster EXP, you can come down and hit up Marnie's Lab, Primal Giant Post, or the Sunny Hill Camp. So these 3 locations right here. From here, for 45 up until about 50, 51-ish, you're going to navigate to these 3 locations. So either the Mancha Forest, Catfishman Camp, or the Rudum Outpost. with the Rudum outpost probably the worst of all the different ones you can choose here. And the Catfish the best. This place is usually absolutely slammed, so you might want to navigate over to the Mansion Forest instead. Now, it may seem like I said a lot here, but it should have all been popping up on your screen, so it should help you to figure out where these locations are. And once again, if these regions are packed, feel free to swap servers. You do not need to be on a season server to level up your season character. Also note that before you can hit level 50, you need to do that quest at 49.9% EXP, so don't forget to do it and sit there grinding for half an hour wondering why you haven't hit level 50. Anyway, at level 51, you can either choose to stay at Catfishman Camp, or you can move on over to BDO, which is our next location for leveling 50 to 56. Do note that if you need to pick up the Kaya weapon, as well as those accessories that we talked about earlier, Calpheon is right here, so you can get those accessories right there, and the Kaya weapon from this Dobart dude, or whatever the heck his name was, Canobes, over here in Calpheon. So make our way all the way back over to Heidel, recharge on any items you need to right here before we head out into the Medea region. Medea has 3 locations you can do this 50 to 56 grind at. You have the Helms, you have the Main's Outpost, and you have the Abandoned Iron Mine down here. These 3 locations are probably the easiest, with the Main's Hideout being the easiest if you don't quite have the AP, and in fact the Abandoned Iron Mine might even be easier than that. Helm's Post is better if you have a bit more AP and want to get it done faster, and if you really want to do it faster after you hit like 54, 55-ish, you can try the Susan's Garrison up here, as long as you have like 160-ish AP to make your life a little bit easier. This is the only portion, this 50 to 56 portion, where I pop all those EXP buffs. Obviously, if you want to use them earlier on, you feel free to if you have extra ones stocked up, but I only like to waste one 530% scroll during this whole thing, and this is when I use it right here. This portion is going to take you about an hour regardless of which one of these locations you choose. If you do Helms, you're going to get done a little bit faster, and if you do Susan's, you're going to get done even faster still, but for the most part, you're going to spend about an hour in this location. Now, after you've hit 56, we're going to navigate back to Heidel, and we're going to need to do the Chengatome questline. So I have a guide on the Chengatome questline. The Chengatome questline is awesome. It gives you 30% bonus EXP from quests. You need it to hit level 59 through questing, and as well as level 61 through questing, so you definitely want it. If you've already done this once, take it from your character that already has it and give it to this character by dropping it in a storage keeper. If you don't have it already, watch my guide on it. And at this point, after you've got the Chengatome and you have the Chengatome equipped to your character, you're just going to play through the rest of the story that we skipped out on earlier. So while you're playing through the story, make sure to pick up every single side quest in every single location that it drops you off at. Make sure you've combed the area and that there are no side quests available to you. And when I say every single quest, I don't mean every single quest, lol, because I'm a bad person. So when you look at quests that people have above their heads, right, you're going to see a variety of borders. So you can see how those yellow borders are incomplete, but this yellow border is complete. Quests that reward you EXP are going to be ones with complete yellow borders. So when you go ahead and talk to the person, click on the quest option, talk to them, and make sure that the quest is going to provide you combat EXP, which will be this icon. If it will, do it. So like, for example, that closed one has it. If I go to like this person and go and take his quest, you will see that it does not have combat EXP in the yellow variety. It has this blue one, which isn't worth like anything. So check the quest before you accept them. If you're seriously struggling, you can also check out my leveling guide 56 through 59, which will be linked in the description below. There's actually a full-on video series going all the way up to 61. But you don't even need to follow it if you just do all the side quests in the different areas that reward you with combat EXP. I would love it if you watch those videos, the 56 to 59, but you honestly don't need to. Just play through all of the side quests as you play through the story. For completing the entirety of the story, you're going to unlock an additional 24 inventory expansion slots by the time you complete Calpheon. By the time you complete Calpheon, you're also going to be about to level 59, and it works out really nicely. If you're still struggling though, once again, I do have the guides that show you where all these different quests are along these story quests, but you really don't need to watch it once again. Anyway, after you hit Calpheon, then you're going to go ahead and follow my levels 59 to 61 leveling guide. And if you don't hit level 59 by Calpheon, then just keep playing through the story until you do hit level 59. But my level 59 to 61 guide is going to take you to 59 through 61 in about 4 hours. And I do need to point out one thing. In the 59 to 60 guide right here, at like 2 minutes into this video, I tell you to pick up a quest that's going to get your butt kicked. And like 30 seconds later, I say, oh, by the way, don't do that quest. And it made a lot of people sad and a lot of people died from it. And I'm a bad person, okay? I'm a really bad person. So that quest where I tell you to go kill the stuff in Star's End because it's super easy, it's not. Don't kill them. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it. That is my foolproof way to make sure you get all the inventory expansions, you get all of the quest reward items, all of the different things you need from a new character as quickly as possible. I do hope this video is going to help you to progress your brand new character here in Black Desert, whether it be a season character or if you're just picking up the game and just getting started anytime after that. I really wanted to help you. If there's anything I can do to help you or help you to understand this any further, do let me know in the comment section down below. And if you have ideas for other videos you would like to see on the channel, also let me know in the comments down below. One more thing I want to point out for those of you that are my regular viewers that always check out all my content, I will be streaming on Twitch all week this week with Hessian gameplay, as it is now live on the server, and I'm sure everybody wants to see it. So make sure to check me out at twitch.tv/evildousharm. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you at the next stream over on Twitch, the next YouTube video, or wherever I happen to see you. Dice. Hello, what is up, guys? Evildoer here today, back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at how to enhance your gear on the season server. So we're going to take a look at all of the different season server gears that you're going to obtain in your progression period through the season server, show you how to upgrade all those, and give you some recommendations towards that. This was a very highly requested video during my live streams over on Twitch this past week, and I wanted to make sure to get it out. But real quick, before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or you've been enjoying the content on the channel, and you still haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It helps grow the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into it, and let's start by taking a look at the Naru gear. So as you play through the story on the season server, you're going to pick up these various Naru gear items that you see right here. So first things first, do not worry about the accessories except for the Naru ring that you need to get to Pry. Otherwise, don't even bother upgrading these things at all. And also note that you're going to get a Pry ring just for playing through some of the side quests as you progress through the story, so you really don't even need to worry about this one. The Naru accessories cannot be exchanged for any other accessories as you progress through the season server, and they're not really that good. So really, don't even think about those. So that just leaves us the Naru gear, and as you can see, I've already got mine up to pen, so this isn't going to be a really good explanation on how to use them. So to fix that situation, we're going to find the NPC Fugar. Fugar is located at just about every single stable keeper in the world of Black Desert, so just find your favorite stable keeper, and you will find Fugar. If you're that struggling to find him, if you type in Fugar into the search bar, you will see all the different Fugars that are available, so you can click on any one of them and navigate to them. So once again, that is the NPC search function that's located in the top right corner of the screen. When you arrive to Fugar, if you click on the Exchange tab and scroll all the way down the list, you can see that you can exchange the various beginner black stones that you're going to get for playing through the story for different Naru gear. Do note that you're going to get this Naru gear as you play through the main story. So just for playing through the story, you don't even need to worry about this, you're going to get it, but I'm just showing you the other way to get it if for some reason you throw it away, you destroy it, or you need to restore the durability of the gear piece. You just click on it, click buy, and I've got it. And I'm going to buy a second one just to show you the other thing you can do with the Naru armors or any of these duplicate items. Now, as far as upgrading this gear goes, it's pretty straightforward. As you play through the story, you're going to get a ton of these beginner Blackstone's armor and weapons. These are my leftovers. I have these many left over after getting every single item to pen that I need to get to continue with the gear progression on the season server. So you're going to have a ton of these. But anyway, to upgrade gear in Black Desert, you have to open up your Black Spirit and click on the enhancement option at the bottom. Then you select your gear piece and you select the item that you want to use to upgrade it. Your first 5 upgrades for armor and your first 7 upgrades for weapons will be guaranteed. So you can just click the skip animation button and just click it 5 times for this armor piece that I'm upgrading right here. Straightforward. After that, you're going to see a percentage chance at success. This is your percentage chance at success based on your current fail stack chance. Fail stacks are gained from failing upgrades. Go figure, that's why it's called a fail stack. They can also be obtained through using Advice of Valks that you'll obtain for playing through the story as well. Although I would not recommend using any of these for this Naru gear. We're going to save these for the Tuvala gear later. You can also, if you really want to stack up fail stacks, check out somebody else's guide on fail stacking because I'm not doing any fail stacking. I hate fail stacking in Black Desert. And you don't need to do any fail stacking for this at all anyway. But generally speaking, with this Naru gear, you can just click it all the way through. It's super easy. So you just literally keep mashing the button until you go up. And you basically got to get this all the way up to pen. So you can see that it's got really solid chances all the way up to the Pry status. After which point it's going to start to drop off a little bit, but that's okay because we're just going to keep tapping this all the way through. And that's it. We got our pen 1 in like 200 stones, just straight up clicking it. It also only used up 12 durability, so this item started with 100 durability. If you look at the red bar at the bottom of the item as I hover over it, it's at 88 out of 88. So let's just say you're the most unlucky person in the world and you need to repair this durability. The only reason why I bought the second piece of armor was to show you how to do this. If you go up to a stable keeper or a blacksmith, interact with them, click on the repair tab, and click the recover max durability, you can pick the pen Naru armor that we just upgraded that was missing 12 durability, click on a Naru armor, and click recover once. This will recover 10 durability to it. So if your stuff does break while you're doing these upgrades, you can repair it. But anyway, you just need to straight up repeat the system all the way through for all of your different pieces of gear. Once you have a full set of pen Naru gear, which shouldn't take that long, and it should be about the time you're completing the BDO storyline, come on back to this video. So after you've completed the entirety of the BDO storyline, which means that your main quest log, if you press the O key, looks just like this. You're up to Valencia Eastern Sand Kingdoms 0 out of 58. You can begin to exchange that Naru gear for Tuvala gear that is the season server gear that everybody talks about, you see written all over the forums everywhere, is basically the best in slot gear that you can get on a season server. To do that, find that same NPC we've been talking about earlier, the Fugar NPC, go ahead and hit on him, click on the chat option, and have the Naru gear in your inventory at the pen ranking. From here, you can exchange that gear, so for example, if I want to exchange this Naru armor, it will give me Tuvala armor. And in my inventory, there will be Pry Tuvula armor. Compared to the stats of the Naru gear, you can see it has 4 more DP, and generally speaking, all of this Tuvula armor is better than that Naru gear that you're trading into them. It's also at the Pry stage, so it's actually skipped out on 15 upgrades for you, which is even better. It saves you a ton of these time-filled Blackstones, which is the upgrade item for the Tuvula gear. So go ahead and finish exchanging all of your gear. Once again, you need to have completed the Medea storyline in order to do this. So now you got all of your Tuvula gear, and the weapon and sub-weapon you're going to need to pop open like this. But once you got it all, now we can start taking a look at how to upgrade this gear. So this time I'm going to start with my Rune Scimitar. So once again, we open up the Black Spirit, click on the Enhancement tab, and click on the weapon. And you're going to notice a stark difference in the percentages that you see this time around. It's going to be a lot lower than it was before. So once again, this can be improved through the methods that we mentioned earlier, either fail stacking, using Advice of Valks, using these items called Valk's Cries, or you can just YOLO it at your 14% chance of upgrading and start burning through your time-filled Blackstone materials. Now here's another little mini tip if you want to do some fail stacking for free for these first couple of upgrades. If you talk to Fugar, click on the exchange tab, scroll back down, and let's go ahead and get another Naru glove item here. So we're just going to go ahead and pick that up. Go back into our Black Spirit, click on the enhancement tab, click on the Naru gloves, and just start skipping animation and mashing away through these. And basically just keep smashing it until you fail a few times. You can get some free fail stacks like this. You can then go back to the original item you were trying to upgrade with a little bit of a head start on your fail stacking. So now instead of 14%, I've got it at 21.6%. The nice thing about this first upgrade as well, from Pry to Duo, is that if it fails, it does not reset the item. The item does not drop down a tier because you can't go lower than Pry. So if you really wanted to, you could just smash this until it goes. So I just pressed my luck another time on this gloves though real quick, and I got myself up to 13. So I'm going to take this Shamshir back out. And now I've got a 27% chance, and I think that's enough for me to want to start smashing at it. So all I do is literally click the button, click the skip enhance, and fail like 5 times in a row and burn through tons of time-filled Blackstones. Now from this point forward, if you fail, you are going to drop back down a tier every time you fail. So this 9.6% chance to go from Duo to Try is not very good odds. You can get around that for this upgrade using Refined Magical Blackstones. And I guess I should stop for a second and say, hey, where do I get these time-filled Blackstones and Refined Magical Blackstones, Levi? What the hell are you talking about? If you go to your favorite YouTuber for Black Desert's channel, you will see a guide literally titled, Where to Farm Time-Filled Blackstones, Refined Magical Blackstones, and Tuvula Ore. And if that's not enough for you, Black Desert, Bonus Tuvula Ore, Time-Filled Refined Magical Blackstones, Regional Kill Quest, a second video about it. So these will both be linked in the description below. If you want to know where to farm these different items or where to do these kill quests, linked in the description below. Anyway, when you've built up enough of these Refined Magical Blackstones, you can use them to guarantee the upgrade from Duo to Try. It will take 30 of these, so it's going to take quite a few, which means you're going to have to farm for a little bit. Also, if you go ahead and talk to Fugar and click on the exchange tab, you can exchange 30 of the regular time-filled Magical Blackstones for Refined Magical Blackstone ×1, which is a pretty crappy exchange rate. Or if you open up the quest log, go to the reoccurring tab and scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see the Season Stronger Tuvula gear. These are a series of weekly quests that reset exactly 1 week after you finish it. So it's not like it resets every Sunday or every Wednesday. It's 1 week after you finish it. So the sooner you do it, the sooner it resets. For killing the specified number of mobs in any one of these different locations, you will get one of these options. So you can either choose 40 of the Refined Magical Blackstones, 90 Tuvula Ore, or 600 of the time-filled Blackstones. With the exchange rates, it's basically better to pick whichever one you need. Normally what I would do is I would use these Refined Magical Blackstones. Once again, the season server just started. You have tons of time, so you don't need to rush anything. But if you want to press your luck with fail stacks, feel free to do some fail stacking or use some Advice of Valks that you've gotten. But anyway, to swap to the Refined Magical Blackstones, instead of using the time-filled Blackstones, you literally just click on them and you can see that it says, you need 30 of these, Levi. You can't make this upgrade. And I'm like, I know, Black Spirit, I'm poor. So these will guarantee you your upgrade from Duo to Try. So congratulations on hitting Try, everybody, but now you're probably going to notice your next big problem, and that is that your durability of your weapon has dropped to nothing. So you can see that my weapon right now is at 10 out of 10 durability. It needs to get repaired. To do that, you're going to need to use Tuvula Ore. So to do that, find your friendly neighborhood blacksmith. If you need help doing it, click the Find NPC icon in the top right corner once again, and look for the Weapon Armor icon, and that will take you to your local blacksmith. If you click on them, click on the Exchange tab, you will see that you can exchange Tuvula Ore for various items. So in this case, I'm upgrading my weapon, so I need these main weapon boxes. So we will go ahead and buy 3 of these, pop open those boxes, talk to the blacksmith once again, click on the Repair tab, recover max durability, click on our Try Tuvula Shamshir, use these Tuvula Shamshirs here, and we can hit Continuous Recovery, and if you want to use Artisan's Memory, you can use those to increase the rate of recovery. The next thing you're going to want to do with this new Try whatever you chose to make is go on over to Fugar and click on the Quest tab. So from the Quest tab, you're going to see these quests called Even Blank 1. So you're looking for the Even Blank, where the blank is whatever you just upgraded. So in my case, it is the Tuvula Shamshir, and it is number 1. So go ahead and click that, click Confirm, and mash through that. If you then go ahead and equip that piece of gear that you just upgraded, it's going to auto-complete that quest. Go ahead and talk to him, and it will complete, giving you an advice of Valks plus 40. So if we go ahead and take that Tri-Shamshir back off, open up our Black Spirit, go to the Enhancement tab, throw it on there, you will see it's at an abysmal 6% rate. You're then going to navigate over to the Pearl tab, and use that advice of Valks plus 40. Go ahead and hit yes to confirm it, and it's going to bump you up to a very modest 26%. So at this point, you have a couple of options. You can continue to smash these and hope, and every time you fail, it's going to drop back down to Duo. Once it hits Duo, you go ahead and use the Refined Magical Blackstones to take it back up to Try, with a guaranteed % chance to keep your fail stacks, so you'll be at like 45 fail stacks, 28%, and you try again. Fail, another 30 Refined Magical Blackstones. Try it again. Repeat this process over and over and over again. So Refined Magical Blackstones from Duo to Try, then try to get that Try to Tet upgrade using that 40 fail stack. You could also use Cronstones if you want, although it's not really recommended by most people. I don't have enough resources to keep going along in this vein, but I will tell you how to do the next upgrade once you do finally get to Tet. So once you do have your whatever item tetted, if you go ahead and talk to Fugar and you click on the quest option again, you're going to see the quest number 2 for whatever you're trying to upgrade. So in this case, the Shamshir once again. When you click on it and accept that quest, you will see that you'll get an advice of Valks plus 60 for completion of this quest. So after that, once again, you take the piece off, you put it on, you talk to him again, you get the advice of Valks plus 60 in your inventory. You then go back to your Black Spirit, click on the Enhancement tab, pop in that advice of Valks plus 60, and at this point, 99.9999999% of the people are going to say to use Cronstones. Maybe not that heavy a percentage, but a lot of people will say to use Cronstones to keep yourself from falling off of that Tet back to Try. It's a painful upgrade process and it sucks to go back, plus it only costs like 170 or 80 crons, so it's not that big a deal. As compared to like a normal pen upgrade that would set you back like a lot more. Now, if you don't like your odds, you can also use these Valks Cries that give you 1 additional fail stack every time you use them, for a maximum of 10 bonus fail stacks. So now we know how to upgrade gear, let's take a look at accessories, and these are also a similar system. Once again, for this, you're going to need Tuvula Ore, so this is the other use for Tuvula Ore. If you talk to the blacksmith, click on the Exchange tab, you will see that for Tuvula Ore, you can exchange 5 for the various accessories. One of the challenges for this season is a Tuvula Ring to try, so you're definitely going to have to upgrade these. But beyond that, the best one of these accessories to upgrade is the Tuvula Necklace, at least at the time of making this video, because you get story accessories that are really, really strong for the other 3 slots. So you get this Forest Eye Earring from playing through the story, this Red Sand Crystal Ring, and a Tri Rock Heart Belt. The stats on these are really solid, whereas the best you can get is an Asula Crimson Eye Necklace, which the Tuvula Necklace will outpace tremendously. So beyond getting a Tri-Tuvula Ring, there's really no reason to upgrade the other accessories other than a necklace, until you've got everything else fully upgraded here on a season server. But once you've exchanged with the blacksmith for them, it's pretty straightforward. Once again, you just go ahead and open up your Black Spirit by pressing the comma key on the keyboard, navigating to the Enhancement tab, clicking on the first necklace, clicking on the second necklace or whatever accessory you're trying to upgrade, and you can see I have an insane fail stack right now, which I do not want to waste. So we're going to swap it over to my 2 fail stack using this Band of Nadir, and if you don't have Nadir's Band, then you can check